Welcome to Impact Today. I'm so glad you joined in our subject today because you're going to be blessed by what I'm going to share with you. And I have an individual here that is really making great impact in the health of so many individuals. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him, forgive me. But I want you to know that you don't want to leave your set in front of your mobile device, or maybe you're watching this on your computer screen or through the Impact Television Network. Don't leave, because you're going to get a lot of information that can save your life. We're going to share with you some information that will help you have a better life. Do you want to have a better life? I know I do. I know you do also. But we're going to, introduce you to this young man because he is very young and energetic when it comes to his spiritual, mental, and physical being. And that's none other than Doug Widdifield. Doug, you are the author of this book, Life or Grave Danger.
Correct.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I just turned 76 years old.
Wait a minute. Back up. When you came into the studio today, you were bouncing around like a 40-year-old, 30-year-old man. And you just turned 70 what?
76.
76.
In August, yeah.
August, okay. Your birthday's August?
Yeah.
August what?
August 9th.
9th, okay. Yeah, okay, good. Close to my birthday. But anyway, 76. And how you feeling?
I'm feeling awesome, but I'll get better.
Yeah, I like that about you. You know, when I see you, when I talk to you, Doug, I could see a man who's really convicted by what he does. And I could see your heart when it comes to helping people. What I love about your conversation with me is the integrity of what you do. And kind of give us a little background on, how did you come up to being the president of this Zenus corporation that's helping so many people live a better life?
Well, it's kind of an interesting topic because it's been a spiritual journey for me. And I was first indoctrinated into the field of nutrition back in the 1960s. And I was mentored by Zig Ziglar at the time, who was, most people know who he was.
Right.
But anyways, he personally mentored me, and he recognized that I had some skill sets that I had been blessed with. And so he played a significant role in helping to hone some of those skills. But at the time, we were marketing nutritional cooking systems. And I broke a world's record selling them, only because selling is a transfer of emotion. And I felt so strong about the whole field of nutrition and helping people that it helped me in that field where I won a new car, and he was there to present it to me and that. But my whole being got more and more involved in helping people, getting involved in nutrition. And that's what I always focused on, is the fact that doing it wasn't about selling cookware, it was about helping people solve a problem with their nutrition. The money was just a way of keeping score,
And so you told me an interesting story. I thought it was something that God gave you an awakening on how you wanted to move when it comes to helping people directly, because your father and your mother-in-law had bouts with cancer.
My father, my mother, and my mother-in-law.
Wow.
And this all happened, I was working with botanics at the time, but we were mostly focused on agricultural supplements for livestock, soil conditioners, things that we were talking about being green before green was ever cool. We were making supplements for the soil that would reduce or eliminate the need for chemical fertilizers, and yet increasing the yield of crops. But some of the botanics that we worked with, as it turned out, had a tremendous benefit on humans. So in the late 1980s, we developed the first liquid yucca extract for human consumption. And shortly thereafter, my mother and my father both became victims of cancer, struck with cancer. My mom went in for an operation that was said to be a significant operation, but not life-threatening. It was a blockage of the bowel. But it was a late night operation. When they went in, they discovered her whole abdomen was inundated with cancer. Her colon, her pancreas, her liver.
Wow.
And the surgeon and the oncologist said, Dorothy, don't even think of radiation or chemo. It's far too little, too late. And they gave her the maximum 6 weeks. This was the end of July. They said at the very best.
6 weeks to live.
6 weeks to live. That was the most. At the end of July, they said the very best that she could hope for would be early September. That would be the best. And rather than listening to the prophets of doom, we started looking at other things. I already was manufacturing what we call our microbiome boost at the time, and I knew that that would benefit her. But I was spiritually led to another product, which we now call a Seniac, which I believe you
Seniac.
Seniac,
Yeah.
but in the original form, and it all took place. That's the first time I came through Detroit. Matter of fact, I was invited. My uncle was a minister, and my grandfather was a circuit preacher in southern Ontario, in the Toronto area. And so, anyways, my uncle had overcome cancer in the 40s due to an Ojibwe Indian formula that was called Essiac at the time. And so he ended up, when he heard of my mom's plight, he sent it to her. She responded to it, and yet it wasn't commercially made. So I was invited out to meet with a friend of Renee Case, a childhood friend, that this nurse that brought it to the forefront. So I drove out here, probably 3,000 miles, had a meeting with a lady by the name of Mary McPherson that shared the formula for me. I went back, I had the facilities, the manufacturing facilities, so I made up about 100 cases of product with no labels, no names, but it's simply to ensure that my mom and dad would have product, because my dad developed cancer shortly thereafter, and I think a lot of it was due to the stress of dealing with my mom's cancer, because mindsets, negative mindsets, anger, fear, anxiety, worry, stress, all help to compromise the immune system and put you in a better position to get a disease, one of these degenerative conditions. So anyways, we put them on a protocol, and my dad's cancer disappeared completely. My mom's cancer disappeared.
Wait a minute, back up. So you're telling me that after you began to do this protocol with your mom, after the doctor told you 6 weeks, whatever, she may live to September.
Correct.
Gave her no hope to go beyond that.
Correct.
You give her these herbs, and all of a sudden, the cancer disappeared?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now, understand, and I want to make sure that on air that
Sure.
I'm not making a medical claim. Products don't.
Sure, no question about it.
Products have never healed anybody of anything. Drugs don't heal, doctors don't heal. Only thing they can heal is the body's innate wisdom.
Exactly, right.
Our immune system, that's given to us by our Creator, and it has the authority to do the healing, but it does need the tools to work with. And our Creator also gave us all those tools.
Yeah.
And they come in our herbs, our vegetables, our, all of
Correct.
the food.
Right.
And so anyways, it was a combination of these herbs gave the body what it needed to overcome the challenge. So within several months, the oncologist was blown away. Her oncologist, my dad's cancer disappeared totally and never came back. My mom's, on the other hand, she succumbed after her oncologist saw that there was nothing there. She said, Dorothy, this is a miracle. I don't know how to explain it, but she said, now it's an important time to get in and get you on chemotherapy and radiation to make sure we can eradicate any remnants that may be there. And against, with all the objections of our family, my mom was scared into following the allopathic protocol. And so she got onto that. And of course, when you look at chemo and radiation, those are two of the most insidious carcinogens on the face of on the planet. And cancer is a disease of poison. So trying to cure or heal cancer by treating it with the worst poisons out there doesn't fly in the face of logic.
And so, again, as Doug said, we're not trying to diagnose or cure any disease. When your immune system is strong, it goes to war. It fights for you.
Absolutely.
And it fights for us because people don't know this, Doug, but they're attacked by cancer every day. Cancer cells come against people every day, but the immune system locate them, spot them, and eradicate them.
Well, and you'll find, I'd write a lot about this in my book there that you have, but you see, every degenerative. I have no quarrel with allopathic medicine for the most part. I have a lot of friends that are doctors, that are scientists, and I believe that there's great strides been made in conventional medicine and diagnostics, surgical procedures, acute conditions, trauma. All these things are,
Good, yes,
conventional
doctors.
medicine is great.
Right.
It's when it comes to degenerative and chronic, long-term, okay, and they treat them with medication, with drugs. And understand that drugs can't heal. All they can do is mask a symptom, and the symptom is nature's way of telling you that something's out of balance. That symptom's there for a reason, and it's encouraging you to address whatever that condition is. There's no such thing as cancer. There's people that have cancer conditions. When we quit treating labels and start treating people holistically, because you may have the same condition that I have, but the same treatment isn't going to necessarily work equally on each of us, because we're all like snowflakes. Each of us are a little unique, a little different.
Right.
That's God's way of creating us,
Wow. We're here. You just tuned in. I don't want you to leave, please, because the best is yet to come. We're here with Doug. Doug is the president of, you're the president of Zenus, right?
Correct.
Okay, I want to make sure that that was your position, because I have been dealing with these products for a while, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. There have been people of my congregation, other people that have had cancer, and talking to you and being able to get some information on the body and how it operates and what it needs. You were able to help walk us through some of these situations just based on your knowledge, because you've been doing this for how many years now?
Well, in the field of nutrition for over half a century.
Oh, almost 50 years.
Yeah, but dealing specifically with cancer since 1989.
Okay.
So 30 some odd years.
Well, a few people that you're working with even now, we don't want to put their names out, but there's one that we brought on as a testimony. Remember Garland, who had prostate cancer, and we gave him some of these herbs and some of these, I know it wasn't called microbiome at that time.
No, the original name was
Detox.
Optimum Detox.
Yeah, Ultimate Detox.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how each one of these items and these vitamins and herbs, the difference between these and the ones you may find at your regular health food store. And we're going to bring a guest on by the name of Mike Haynes.
Yeah.
Mike is going to join us later on. But we're going to take a break, and we want you to stay tuned. And I want you, please take note, because you need to hear what this man has to say, because it may be a lifesaver, not only for you, but for somebody that you really love dearly. Again, you watching Impact Today, and we will be back. Stay tuned.
The Impact Network wants to connect with you, and the easiest way is through our new mobile-friendly website. Simply go to www.watchimpact.com, and a world of information and inspiration will be at your fingertips. Live streaming is always available on your desktop. Plus, take us with you anywhere. You'll be able to connect directly with any of the Impact programmers and get more information on concerts, crusades, church services, and more. If you are ever in need, we are there for you. We have a 24/7 prayer team ready to agree for any need. Also, access our blog site. In it, you'll find inspirational words and teaching from some of the most anointed voices today. Supporting your Impact Network is easier than ever. Just access the donate button, and you're only a few clicks away from changing someone's life forever. Thank you for your prayers and financial support. We are the Impact Network.
Impact, where urban family, faith, lifestyle, entertainment, culture, collide, all here on Impact.
Welcome back to Impact Today. If you just tuned in, I have an impressive man here that's sitting right here on the set with me, who have made a tremendous impact in the lives of so many individuals. He's been into nutrition for the past 50 years, a half a century. Can you think back what you were doing 50 years ago? Some of you probably weren't even born, and most of you all probably babies. But anyway, it's Doug Widdifield. Doug Widdifield, he is the author of Life or Grave Danger. It talks about nutrition. It talks about how you could save your life through nutrition. You know, I love this about God. He is so infinite. He's so, should I say, powerful in his knowledge that he gives us. David said this. David said that I am so wonderfully made, because God made us in such a way that he put everything we need inside of our bodies, and our immune system is one of the greatest defense that we have, that God gives us against pathogens and against all kinds of disease and organism that comes in to attack the body. And it's important that people understand the function of the body, because so many people don't. So, you know, people consume a lot of soda, pop on a daily basis. They go to fast food restaurants. They don't drink a lot of water, and they don't understand what they're doing is tearing down their bodies.
Well, you know, Bishop Jackson, God didn't make any mistakes when he created us. He created us in his image. He gave us this wonderful gift of life, and it's just, to me, it's amazing for a non-believer how you can explain how with a single thought you can wave your hand, or you can talk, or, you know, I can see the color of your suit. You know, all these things you know, and with that gift of life, he gave us everything in life to support it in health and energy, vitality, wellness, and it comes in the form of our food. And because only nature is a way of synergistically blending all the right nutrients in a way that they're in total harmony with the cellular needs of the body.
Right.
And so Hippocrates, who gave us the Hippocratic Oath, the father of modern medicine, he said, let food be thine medicine, let medicine be thine food. And so what happens? We turn around, we live a lifestyle of excesses and abuses where we're eating dead food, food that's been denatured, food that has no food value. We live in a polluted world where our food chain's contaminated at source by an abundance of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, algicides, and Lord knows what other sides. We've got pollution in the air, pollution in the water, you know, and so the body in this day and age is being inundated with more poisons and toxins than ever before in history. Now, the body has organs of detoxification. There's your liver, your spleen, your lungs, your kidneys, all these help to eliminate. But when we start accumulating faster than the body's natural organs of elimination can eliminate, then we develop symptoms. And that's the body's way of letting us know that something out of balance. A tumor isn't cancer. A tumor is simply the body's wisdom at work, because when we accumulate poison so fast that the body then goes into a mode where protective mode, so it builds a garbage pail and it takes excess poisons, dumps them into the garbage pail before they can cause irreparable damage to vital organs.
So the tumor houses this garbage?
That's the garbage pail loaded with garbage, okay? And all that is, the tumor is there as a warning to tell us that we have to start supporting the body. And fundamentally, we haven't been good stewards of this gift we've been given, you know? And it's usually, once we start having a few birthdays, we start recognizing, all of a sudden these symptoms starts coming in. Most people in North America are not sick, but they're not well. You know what I mean? There's a level of tolerance, but come along any little trauma at all, and you drop down, now you got a symptom. So we're not really in our zone. We're just hovering above that tolerance level where we're okay.
Well,
we want people to be excited, motivated, and healthy, you know, and that requires a healthy, robust immune system, which is the best defense mechanism in the world to ward off infectious pathogens, microbes, germs, viruses, etc.
You're 76 years old, or young.
76 years young, that's right.
Yeah, he's 76 young.
I know another 10 years, I'm going to hit middle age.
And you can tell, by your skin, your full head of hair, and your energy. And your energy is based on a healthy immune system because your cells are pumping, and the mitochondria in your cells are just putting out a lot of energy. And you're thinking well. A lot of people that's your age, they're pretty much, a lot of them on walkers, and they're on a lot of medication. But I heard back in the Bible when they asked Jesus, physician, heal yourself. And I could tell you're doing that because you could tell that the product that you talk to other people about, you're taking them yourself. And we're going to talk a little bit about these products, and we're going to talk a little bit about how important it is for a person. Let's back up. I'm going to talk about the company. What is your company, Zenus foundation? What is the foundation of this company? Why do you have this company?
Well, I believe that I've been blessed with a specific gift. And I think that this is the journey that the Lord wanted me to be on. My wife feels the same way. If I finish the story about my mom or that, my mom, 3.5 years later, succumbed to cancer. It came back with a vengeance because she went on a protocol of radiation and chemo. My dad, on the other hand, stuck to the protocol we put him on. He eventually died of old age, but no cancer. And that was the difference. And so anyways, a few months after my mom died, I had a young man that came to work for me, and he shared with me that his mom, living in Toronto, I was in Vancouver, Canada at the time, his mom lived in Toronto and was in the hospital in the final stages of cancer there. And there was no hope, but he thought that maybe our products could at least give her better quality in her her last days. And it created a problem. I had a warehouse in Mississauga because we were in 31 countries around the world at that time. But I had a warehouse there. I said, I can get product to, but I don't know who's going to administer it because the nurses will not do it at the hospital. He said, well, my sister lives in Palm Springs, but she's flying up. She's going to be with my mom. And if I ask her to do it, she'll do it. So I said, okay. So I would have delivered to the hospital. His sister would pick it up and administer to her mom. And so about a month later, I had the opportunity. I was flying back there to do a series of lectures in Ontario, just north of us here. And his sister came to the meeting. The next day I went to the hospital, and I met his mom, and I took his sister for lunch. And over lunch, I recognized the beauty in her soul and that we were aligned. And I knew I was going to marry her. 2 months later, I flew her to Vancouver, and our whole wedding was predicated. We lost her mom in the interim, but our whole wedding was predicated on through our mom's plight or challenge that had brought us together, and that we had a spiritual calling, to help others that were suffering from these insidious challenges. I was able to attract a lot of wonderful mentors into my life, and people that were a lot more knowledgeable than me, but I was a good student, and I learned, and I put the pieces together, So it's our whole philosophy is predicated just on logic.
Wow.
It's not on guessing, it's on logic. That's why I can be in a group of doctors or scientists, and they may argue or debate with me initially, but once I explain the whole philosophy, all of a sudden you can see them, that they get drawn in, and they see where it just totally makes sense.
Wow. So Zenus has a slew of items, products, and I take them.
I know you do.
I take them. I'm really sold on the seafood. It's called seafood, and we're going to talk, and all of them, the microbiome. Am I pronouncing that right? Microbiome boost.
We used to be called Optimum Detox. We changed the name because for over 30 years I've been promoting, this is probably the microbiome boost. I believe in my heart of hearts that it's probably the closest thing to magic you'll ever find in a bottle.
Wow. It's so many diseases that's out there. I mean, you look at the number one killer, whether it's heart disease.
Heart disease in the United States claims about 650,000 lives annually.
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 A year.
Every year.
And that's number one killer?
That's number one. Followed close with cancers, about just shy of 600,000. I think the last I heard was, 595,000 people die of cancer every year. Over 850,000 incidents of stroke. Diabetes affects over 10% of the population.
Over 10% of
Over 30 million, about 35 million people with diabetes
Wow.
in the United States. And these are all can be all controlled through diets and diet supplements.
So some people who died of these things, of these ailments, these conditions, didn't really have to die.
Well, that's correct. That's correct. See, again, let me, if I can explain philosophically, you see, here's how it works, is that I believe that all degenerative and chronic conditions stem from accumulated waste, poisons, and toxins. That's the primary cause of every degenerative condition. And understand, drugs, every prescription medication, without exception, is toxic to the body. That's why we get side effects. Side effect is simply the body's wisdom telling
rejecting
us,
it.
Yeah, it's saying it's not in harmony with its needs.
Wow.
And all the best they can do is mask the symptom, but the symptom is there to warn us. That's the flag, you know. So if we turn around and hide, it's like, hey, burying your head in the sand, you know. And so anyways, so everything is predicated on nutrition, I believe. And see, we were taught in school a lot of misinformation. Thanks to Louis Pasteur, he told us that, you know, he came up with the germ proposition, that it was germs that caused disease. That was the primary cause, you know. So now we pasteurize and homogenize, you know, different things. But the bottom line is that pathogens, viruses, germs, bacteria, they're all living organisms, and they're never the primary cause of disease, secondary at best. Because their first order of business is to find an environment that provides them with a food source. Mm-hmm. What's their food source? Their favorite thing on their menu is accumulated waste, poisons, and toxins. So if we focus on eliminating toxins out of our system, helping the body to eliminate,
They have nothing to eat.
they've got nothing to eat, so they're not attracted to that environment. That's why two people can go into the same environment, one will get sick and one doesn't.
Wow.
You know, exposed the same way.
Wow. Hold your thought. We're going to take a break. Don't leave. The best is yet to come. I'm telling you, we're going to talk to you about these products. These products, each one of these products, I believe that they're going to benefit you. And again, we're going to bring Mike Haynes on with us, and he's going to share with us his personal testimony, his knowledge, and his experience with Doug and also the Zenus products. And so we want you to stay tuned. We're going to take a break and know this can actually save your life or the life of those that you love. We will be back.
Impact, where urban family, faith, lifestyle, entertainment, culture, collide. All here on Impact.